Willing to lie flat, Xianyu Wang Yue unexpectedly gained access to the Xianyu film and television system, able to shuttle through the world of film and television. Only after learning the skills and being recognized can he return. Let's see how he plays the world of film and television and completely changes his destiny. The first world, with a faint smile, is enchanting. The second world, to youth. The third world, Xiaosha's. The fourth world, time and you, come safe and sound. The fifth world, ode to joy, 123, the sixth world, beginning. The seventh world, youth faction. The eighth world, mine. Physical education teacher. The ninth world, cross the window together. The 10th world, Tianlong Babu. The 11th world, the small matter of first love. In the 12th world, whether one knows or not should be green, fat, red, and thin. Novel keywords. Learn skills from the world of film and television without pop-ups. Download the complete set of skills from the world of film and television, and read the latest chapters on learning skills from the world of film and television. Chapter 1. This kind of crossing caught people off guard. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. This kind of crossing caught people off guard. Didi, the host, is 27 years old and has been squatting for a total of 10,000 hours, meeting the system startup requirements. D. The Xianyu film and television struggle system is being launched. Didi, the Xianyu film and television system has been successfully launched. Didi, please choose the movie and TV series Time Travel as the host of Xianyu. Didi, it has been detected that the host is watching a TV drama with a faint smile, which is very captivating. The system is loading. Didi, loading successful, traversal function is starting. What ghost? Wang Yue, with a muddled face, was crouching and brushing TikTok sound. When the TV play that had just been edited smiled and was overwhelmed, he heard a series of Didi sounds inexplicably. MMP, at least have someone wipe their buttocks and lift their pants. Wang Yue looked around. Okay, this is the restroom. This is very important. Wang Yue, hurry up. The game is about to start. What's the ink on it? Suddenly, a voice pulled Wang Yue back to reality. Upon hearing the sound outside the restroom door, Wang Yue instinctively responded, immediately. Lu Wei, please wait a moment. Wang Yue picked up his pants while receiving feedback from the system. The person who just called him was his roommate Lu Wei, and the person he replaced was also Wang Yue, a freshman in the computer science department of Tsinghua University. A person with a head hanging over a beam and a cone piercing his thigh finally got into Tsinghua University, and then he became a complete salted fish. Skipping classes is not enough, but the 10th string suddenly relaxes, leaving no goal and living aimlessly with classmates every day. The day that Wang Yue traveled through happened to be the school basketball league, and as an important water dispenser administrator, he was indispensable. As a reader of online literature, the terms time travel and system have become commonplace. Wang Yue quickly learned from other online protagonists to connect with the system. System elf. This dog system. Isn't it just a system that just kills without burying it? Isn't it said that all systems have system tasks? What are the agreed skill points? What the hell is this without any feedback? Wang Yue muttered while walking forward, and by the time he arrived at the stadium, it was almost time to start playing, and the audience was bustling and almost full. Wang Yue sat proficiently next to the water dispenser, listening to the expected words from a few fans of Xiao Na behind him. He thought to himself, fortunately, it's not like other traversal systems, if we release the female lead mission of the strategy. At this point, Bai Weiwei had already been noticed by the sullen Xiao Na. As a salty fish like himself, facing him head-on, wouldn't he provoke Ultraman with the little monster? Wang Yuefu's attempt to join forces was pushed by Lu Wei. What are you thinking? With so many beautiful women at the back today, don't you want to go up and show off well? You're done, your enlightenment is not far from leaving the team. Wang Yue changed the topic and shook his head in a pretentious and profound manner. What? What's your insider information? They probably don't want me anymore, do they? Lu Wei was startled and stared at Wang Yu with a bull's eye. Wang Yu gave Lu Wei a disdainful glance and patiently explained, do you think this kind of opportunity, senior brother in his sophomore, junior, and senior years, doesn't want to show off? You're a cute and new person who doesn't honestly accompany me to check the water dispenser. Do you think you're Kobe? Sure, third brother. You actually have this kind of consciousness. Lu Wei gave Wang Yu a hard slap on the shoulder and said viciously to him, then tell me, what are you secretly looking behind? The two of them chatted, and the girls in the stands behind roughly knew that Xiao Na wouldn't come today. A lot of people walked slowly, leaving only a few scattered on the stands. After confirming a 20-point advantage in the second half, the senior brothers saw that the beautiful women had almost walked, and finally let the freshman Mengxin Elementary School brother go on the field and jump for a few minutes. Wang Yu played basketball well in his original world, but he became a few years younger over time. He felt that his physical fitness was quite good, and after playing a few rounds on the field, he felt like he was back. After the feeling of the ball returned, Wang Yu transformed into a king who didn't pass. As long as the ball reached his hands, he either went into the basket or listened to bang dang. No matter how others feel, at that moment Wang Yu felt like he was Wang Bryant Yu. Wang Yu, you just said I don't want to join the department team. Did you just show that you don't want to mess around? When Wang Yu was replaced by his disdainful senior brothers, Lu Wei wiped the sweat off his face with a towel and rolled his eyes in disdain. A big old man, why are you selling me cuteness? I just heard someone say that before the competition started, you confessed to tie flowers. Wang Yu looked at the cute big boy and admired his courage to compete with Xiao Na for a woman. A graceful lady is a good match for a gentleman. Lu Wei held his head high, his face tingling with pleasure. I always feel like you're constantly bouncing around on the brink of death. Wang Yu sighed. He thought of the person on TV who was brutally challenged by Xiao Na, and sympathetically patted Lu Wei's shoulder, saying, you practice hard, otherwise it will be very miserable. Your logic always makes me feel like something's wrong. You will understand in the future. Looking at the confused fourth, Wang Yu mourned for him in silence. The girls around Bai Weiwei were all good, why were they fighting for food with Xiao Na's fox? Thinking of this, Wang Yu glanced at the four girls cheering on the computer science department on the stage and found that each had its own unique characteristics, which was incredibly beautiful. At that moment, a voice in Wang Yu's ear asked, how many of them are beautiful? Wang Yu was observing the beautiful woman up close and instinctively replied, beautiful. The person saw that Wang Yu actually admitted, and then asked in a deep tone, which one do you like? At this moment, Wang Yu also regained his senses and turned around to take a glance, only to find that the one standing next to him was De Zhong, the boyfriend of Weiwei roommate Xiaoling. He immediately realized that he was being tested by others. Looking at the crisp fingertips of the big clock, Wang Yu quickly said, just the one next to Bai Weiwei, for his future safety considerations. De Zhong was at least admitted to Tsinghua University. How could he fool him? He looked at Wang Yu seriously and asked, nonsense, where are the three flowers next to him? Which one are you talking about? Wang Yu was speechless. Is it okay for the fourth son who provoked Xiao Na to be okay? Will this innocent one just finish the calf first? However, being able to pass the imperial examination saved Wang Yu's intelligence. Under the gaze of De Zhong, he quickly gave an answer, it's just that plaid shirt with short hair. De Zhong carefully glanced at Wang Yu and noticed his serious demeanor. He then relaxed his fist, which was the size of a sandbag, and said with a wry expression, indeed, he has great vision. The other person with short hair is my girlfriend. Do you want my girlfriend to introduce you? Wang Yu couldn't really let him introduce him. He was just an excuse, so he quickly waved his hand and said, no, senior brother. It's better to handle this kind of thing on your own, so don't trouble your sister. Law. De Zhong saw Wang Yu's refusal and looked at him suspiciously, asking very seriously, aren't you liking your sister? Lol. Wang Yu was so frightened that he quickly waved his hand and said solemnly, "Senior brother, where are you going?" "I just want to wait for her long hair to reach her waist, and then I will go find her to confess." After hearing his words, De Jong blinked his big eyes for Wang Yu and smiled contentedly. Junior brother is still a charming person. When she has long hair and waist, well, this can be. Returning to the dormitory, Wang Yu forgot about this matter, and after washing up, he lay in bed flipping through professional books. This is Qingdao. Just thinking about it makes me a little excited. Thinking about the broken second-tier textbook that I passed in the original world, I always feel a bit surreal. Oh, no wonder they say that we still need to have dreams. Isn't that what we've achieved? Time passed unconsciously during Wang Yu's studies, and he once again experienced a university, especially the dream university in the hearts of every student. Wang Yu felt so comfortable seeing everything. Even after finishing the meal, the trembling spoon of the cafeteria lady appeared so cute. Wang Yu's mind was restless all day, causing the 3 roommates in the dormitory to be nervous all day, always afraid of something wrong with the goods. "Fourth, what did third and you do today? How come after you finish playing basketball, third is not normal?" Before going to bed at night, dormitory boss Huang Tao quickly asked Lu Wei quietly while Wang Yu was going to the bathroom. "How do I know? I feel like the third player is quite normal." Lu Wei thought for a while without realizing any problems. "Oh, it was playing basketball today. It was really rough today, and I feel like he played the last few minutes of the game." When he finished his professional farewell game, he successfully transformed into Wang Butuan. Is there anything else special? His joyful and despicable demeanor is all written on his face. Can you tell me this is a sad story? Second brother Jia Honghai stretched out his head from the bed, looking at this iron and silly person with a disdainful expression. Lu Wei immersed his feet in the basin while his phone was playing his beautiful girl ghost game. Without looking up, he said, "There's nothing special today except for me having a mealtime with Yob." Bang! As soon as Lu Wei finished speaking, he heard a loud noise and turned his head to see Jia Honghai falling to the ground wrapped in a blanket. Boss Huang Tao quickly went over and helped Jia Honghai up, and then the 2 of them squeezed Lu Wei in the middle, left and right. "Did you make an appointment to eat with a flower? How did you confess your feelings? When?" Lu Wei looked at the excited expression of the 2 goods. With a bewildered expression on his face, he cautiously asked, "I just saw Tai Hua playing with the ghost of a beautiful girl. I want to ask which district she belongs to. Is this serious?" End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Our fourth brother is still a child. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Our fourth brother is still a child. When did you find out about playing with the ghost of a beautiful girl? Did you help them fix their computer? Wang Yu washed up, wiped his head with a dry towel, bent down, and placed his toiletries under the bed, looking surprised. "Just a while ago, my computer asked my boss to help me install software, and I went to the internet cafe near the school to play The Ghost of the Beautiful Girl for a while when I had nothing to do." Lu Wei thought for a moment and said with envy, "You don't know, the operation skills and skill connections of Bai Weiwei are really beautiful." "So is it because you are beautiful, or because you have beautiful skills? Is it love at first sight, or is it because of lust?" asked the leader and the second in unison. "What's love at first sight?" Lu Wei looked contemptuous and gave another cute look. "I just feel like she's so skilled at playing games. Can you take me along?" "Boss, second, let go of fourth." Wang Yu had a serious expression on his face, as if the 3 of them had done something despicable. "What?" The first and second leaders looked at Wang Yu with murderous intent, indicating that if Wang Yu was on the side of the 4th leader, they would be ready to serve him with severe punishment. "Our 4th child, he's just a child." Wang Yu shook his head with a sorrowful expression and climbed onto his own bed. The boss and the second looked at each other and nodded, confirming this fact with great certainty. The boss also returned to his bedside and said with a painful expression, "The third one is right, our fourth one is still a child." The second person also tidied up his messy bed and said with a look of sadness and anger, "Who's not a child yet? Why can't I see the flowers?" After listening to their conversation, Wang Yu felt it was necessary to find something to do for the boss and the second, so that these two guys wouldn't pay attention to him anymore. After all, he is a time traveler and doesn't want to reveal anything. So, Wang Yu asked Lao Si, who was playing games, in a very plain voice, "Lao Si, which district does Bai Weiwei's game belong to? What's going on in the imperial capital? What's wrong?" Lu Wei answered straightforwardly, with a very concise content. "Are you in that district again?" Wang Yu was afraid of startling the snake, so he shifted his focus and blinked at the boss and the second. "Third, my peony from Shandong." Lu Wei didn't know why Wang Yu asked, his cute big eyes blinking and blinking. "Do you remember the name of Bai Weiwei's game?" The boss understood Wang Yu's meaning and quickly climbed down from the bed, opening his Huawei laptop. "Yes, what is the name of the game, Tai Hua, dot?" The second person watched the boss's movements and his eyes rolled. He quickly tidied up the bed and turned on the computer in front of his desk. "What is it called, Weiwei?" I said, "Boss and mistress, do you two want to play the ghost of Xianyu? I'll take you." Lu Wei looked at the dormitory and finally saw a brother playing the ghost of Xianyu with him. His emotions suddenly became excited and he turned to warmly greet Wang Yu, who was flipping through a book. "Third, why don't you join us too? The four of us, it's so lively." Wang Yu looked at Lu Wei with a pitiful gaze, wanting to say that he was only tall and not very intelligent, but he was able to get into Tsinghua University because his brain was better than his own. Is it a skill point that is crooked? Lu Wei's foolishness is really unbearable. Wang Yu reluctantly put down his book and said, "You and Bai Weiwei are not the same server. How can someone take you?" "Yes, Bai Weiwei and I are not the same server." Lu Wei reacted with a slightly low tone. But his low mood comes quickly and goes faster. "It's not a big deal. In the future, I'll have my boss and mistress with me. Let Bai Weiwei go to hell." Looking at Lao Si's face full of righteousness, Wang Yu didn't want to undermine him, so he continued reading. However, there was no need for Wang Yu to strike him anymore. In less than an hour, the fourth brother greeted the second brother excitedly, "I have already arrived outside the Novice village. Come here quickly, I will take you on a journey in the martial arts world." "No need, I'll familiarize myself with the second one first." The eldest brother showed a cheap look, but forced himself to be serious. "Yes, we are familiar with each other. Fourth, you are busy with your work, don't worry about us." Second and eldest exchanged a glance and quickly agreed. "Well, then I'll go brush up later." Lu Wei looked disappointed and got up, picked up his basin and headed towards the toilet. In the dormitory, it was quiet for less than 3 minutes. On his way back to his chair, Lu Wei glanced slightly at the second person's computer screen. At first, he didn't pay much attention, but took 2 more steps before suddenly realizing something was wrong. Quickly reverse it, then go back behind the second person and confirm again. "Second, you built the wrong server, it should be a peony." Lu Wei quickly pushed second. Jia Honghai quickly shook his head, nodded confidently, and then quickly became handsome. "No mistake, it's just the imperial capital. If you don't believe it, go ask the boss." Huang Tao was honest and couldn't avoid it anymore. He looked at his second brother with disdain and naturally said to Lu Wei, "We play the ghost of a beautiful girl. Of course, we should hang out with those who play well. You also say that Bai Weiwei plays better than you. But you don't know Bai Weiwei either." Lu Wei wrote with a full face, "Don't lie to me. Isn't there a game name for him? Let's go in and find her to apprentice directly." The second brother quickly helped him solve his confusion and coaxed Lu Wei very kindly. "Xiao Si, why not? You also come with us, that's your idol. Ergo is right. Lu Wei's attention was successfully diverted and he happily went back to create his own account. Wang Yue watched the play there for a while and was very speechless towards the boss and the mistress. He said contemptuously, I mean, boss, you too won't hurt your conscience by deceiving a child. How much does that cost per kilogram? Wang Yue did not go to play the ghost of the beautiful girl with them in the end. He had already contributed 4 years of college to his dream westward journey. I finally walked back to the university and didn't want to give these 4 years to the ghost of Xianyu anymore. Besides, his salted fish film and television system is really impressive, without any tasks or prompts. Just leave him here and let him go. Can he go back or not? How do we go back? But even if there is a task, he doesn't think he can complete it. During this period, Xiao Na has already hooked up with Bai Weiwei. In the words of the domineering CEO, the fish pond of Bai Weiwei has already been contracted by Xiao Na. Still follow Go systematics and strive to be invincible before coming out. However, one also needs to earn some money to achieve financial freedom. With this in mind, Wang Yue skillfully entered a part-time mechanical design website while his 3 brothers were playing with Xianyu in the dormitory, earning extra money. On that day, Wang Yu's extra fast money was received, and he happily opened the web page, preparing to verify the amount. He accidentally restored the web page a few more times and opened the campus forum. And a prominent message on the forum is, my worldview collapsed when I saw campus beauties stepping off luxury cars. When Wang Yue looked at that picture, did he think of that Chao Guang? Isn't it said that he comes from a diplomatic family? How to start a trouble, like a loser, it's not as good as my salted fish. However, it is possible to go to the scene and observe how Bai Weiwei tore off Chao Guang. Thinking of this, Wang Yue looked at a few brothers who were playing games, closed their computers, and walked towards the foreign language department. However, as soon as Wang Yue was halfway there, he saw Shi. After thinking for a moment, he thought it was better to say hello and curiously asked, Senior sister, what are you doing here? When Xi saw Wang Yue, she remembered Xiaoling saying that this junior brother would confess his love when he grew his hair to the waist. She looked at her hair, which was not a few millimeters long, and felt a little puzzled. This junior brother couldn't wait anymore. Thinking of this, Shi's heart was like a deer bumping around. Her face turned red and she unconsciously told the truth, I'm waiting here for a little while, Chao Guang from the foreign language department. Wang Yue looked at the silly and cute girl and remembered her fiery dance in the video. His gaze became somewhat eager, and he coughed lightly and asked, do you want me to help? I can't do anything else, at least make him dare not take action. Shi is somewhat different from a little bit. She has never been confessed since childhood, and when faced with a boy who may confess to her, she felt a little flustered and instinctively nodded. Wang Yue looked at Shi's shy expression and remembered what he had said to De Jong. He suddenly understood that this girl must know she wanted to confess her love. However, looking at her, it seems like she picked up a girlfriend for nothing. When the two of them found Bai Weiwei together, they happened to hear Chao Guang say to him, it's not anyone, I would have misunderstood. Wang Yue looked around and saw that he had transformed from shyness to indignation, feeling that he should perform well in front of the girlfriend he had picked up. So, Wang Yue deliberately took a photo of Chao Guang and Bai Weiwei with his phone and said, Shi, I will post this photo on the forum in a moment, and the title says, Chao Guang, the school grass, hates because of love, and the campus beauty lies innocent with guns. How about that? Xi was stunned as she watched Wang Yue's lewd behavior, completely impressed. She quickly nodded and smiled, saying, okay, you're so smart. Wang Yue's words not only shocked Shi, but even Bai Weiwei, who was already burning with anger, couldn't seem to laugh or cry. However, after carefully pondering Wang Yue's words, she suddenly scrutinized Chao Guang with suspicion. When did this guy confess his feelings? Chao Guang was furious with Wang Yue. He came up to grab Wang Yu's phone, but Wang Yue dodged him. Seeing that he couldn't find it, he angrily said, "You're speechless, delete it quickly, or I'll sue you for defamation." Wang Yue looked disdainfully at Chao Guang, who was becoming angry and embarrassed, and said disdainfully, "Everyone starts with a picture, and the rest depends entirely on editing. You can do it, why can't I?" Chao Guang saw that he couldn't snatch Wang Yue, so he regained some rationality and understood that Wang Yue was with Bei Weiwei. He quickly said, "I saw her get off the luxury car with my own eyes." Wang Yue was also unwilling to be outdone and said with a righteous tone, "I also saw you and Bei Weiwei standing together with my own eyes." Chao Guang was stuttered by Wang Yue's criticism and quickly explained, "We, standing together, doesn't mean anything." Wang Yue laughed when he heard these words, and he said naturally, "You are quite impressive with the double standard. Even if senior sister Weiwei gets off the luxury car, what does that mean? Have you investigated it?" Chao Guang was speechless when he was scolded. He glanced at Bei Weiwei, who looked down upon him with disdain, and the bulging clothes on his body. Suddenly, he felt how pale and powerless his photo was. If it were really that kind of money-worshipping woman, she would have to be more glamorous. Wearing such clothes still didn't look much like money-worshipping. After thinking for a while, Chao Guang guessed that he might have taken it for granted. He opened the forum on his phone, deleted the post, and then said to Bei Weiwei, "I have already deleted the post. I apologize to you here." "I'm sorry." Bei Weiwei didn't expect the matter to be resolved so smoothly, which made her feel very good. She didn't say anything to Chao Guangdue anymore, just nodded and turned to Wang Yue and said, "Thank you today. Later, let Erxi thank you well for me. I won't disturb you and Erxi anymore. Goodbye." In no time, only Wang Yue and Erxi were left on the scene, staring at Erxi's shy Wang Yue with big eyes and small eyes. He realized later that he seemed to have just gotten out of singlehood. Wang Yue returned to the dormitory, but he didn't tell his roommates that he knew Bei Weiwei, let alone talk about his girlfriend, afraid of stimulating the three of them. However, the leader and the second in command have a very strong execution ability, and within a week, the three of them successfully became apprentices. It is said that Bei Weiwei took the initiative to find them to accept their apprentices. The thing is, the boss, the second, and the fourth team worked together on a mission and encountered a player with a similar level called Just Not Eating. Just Not Eating, Xiao Nai's roommate Yu Banchan's nickname. "Why are there only 3 of you? Shouldn't there be another one?" Weiwei's fourth attendant, the fourth in Wang Yu's dormitory, said, "Just the 3 of us. Just Not Eating. What about the 3 attendants? Weiwei's second assistant. Third assistant doesn't play. Why don't you change your name to third assistant? Just don't eat. Forget it, I'm afraid of being beaten to death." The 3 of them happily scrolled through their notebooks, while Yu Banshan drove a large phone and called out to Bei Weiwei to inform him of the 3 attendants here. Yu Gong moves mountains, Yu Banshan's big account. San Sa, I have 3 small accounts with slightly different names. Big assistant, second assistant, and fourth assistant. What do you think? Let the third person, Shonai, follow the third name, right? Read Weiwei, Bei Weiwei. 3 attendants. I dare not, why don't you mention it to him? Yu Gong moves the mountain. Third sister. Law, I dare not either. Read Weiwei. What should I do? Yu Gong moves the mountain. Third sister. Law, go and take the 3 of them as apprentices and make it a predetermined fact. Monkey Wine, Xiao Nai's roommate Chiu Yong Ho, would definitely suggest changing the names of the 3 of them. Read Weiwei. How cunning. Yu Gong moves the mountain. Do you accept it or not? Read Weiwei. Is that necessary? End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Taking the Trend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Taking the trend. After a farce, Bei Weiwei took in the eldest, second, and fourth students from Wang Yu's dormitory as apprentices, and then took Yugong's mountain moving account with him. The 5 of them went to brush their notebooks together. Just don't eat. Big follower. Do you know Wei Wei? Why did you give such a name? Boss Huang Tao saw this information, and after some consideration, he decided to suggest to Bei Weiwei. Weiwei's grand tutor. Oh, there is a beautiful woman in our department called Weiwei, who is our goddess. Weiwei's second assistant. Yes, we need to protect the goddess to prevent her from being deceived. Read Weiwei. Are you still students? The second person, Jia Honghai, looked up in frustration and said to Huang Tao, "You said, why did the flower tie get married in the game?" That smile made me feel inexplicable sense of crisis. At this moment, Wang Yu happened to come back from the library. As soon as he entered the door, he heard the second person's words and then said to himself, "Isn't that Xiao Na? What are you afraid of him doing? He can still come and beat you up. What's going on? What are you talking about?" Boss, Xiao Nai. Second brother, how did you know? This is Lao Si. Wang Yu suddenly realized that he had slipped his tongue. He quickly pointed at Jia Honghai and retorted, "Isn't that what the second person said about Xiao Na?" What I said was a smile, but it's useless. The second person quickly explained after 3 seconds of confusion. Yeah. Oh, Xiao Nai, hee hee. Wang Yu interrupted Lao Er again. Your interpretation makes me feel flawless. The boss nodded thoughtfully, as if it was really possible. After all, a smile perfectly matched Xiao Nai's pretentious temperament. If it's true, then Xiao Na is also quite dark. The second person also agreed upon hearing this. Bei Weiwei, a senior student, rarely encounters her outside. It's even more difficult to know her game information. Can it be said that Xiao Nai was also there the day when Lao Si met Bei Weiwei? The boss looked at Lao thoughtfully, seeming to want to get the answer from him. I saw Xiao Na that day, it couldn't be so coincidental. Old Si still didn't believe their guess. You are still a child, but Xiao Na is a fox, the second brother immediately retorted. That's a fox with a black belly, who starts with his appearance. The boss confirmed this very well. Wang Yu's heart suddenly moved. In the TV, Xiao Nai seemed to be so scheming that he smoothly took over the fish pond. How about having the boss and his team arrange an offline meeting for Weiwei in advance? Let's see how the fox handles unexpected events. He can also learn and learn. So Wang Yu calmly urged Lao Dadao, "Boss, would you like to privately tell Bei Weiwei that you are her freshman student? Third, I didn't expect you to be so bad either." The boss saw through Wang Yu's intentions, but continued to speak while typing in the game. Private chat. Weiwei's assistant. We are freshmen in the computer science department of Tsinghua University, and our senior has seen you play this game. So I came to protect you in the game. I didn't expect to be one step late. Bei Weiwei saw the other party's reply and looked surprised. I seem to have been playing games in my dormitory all along, and the only time was at the internet cafe outside. Private chat. Read Weiwei. Did you encounter it in an internet cafe? This is not good for elementary school students. Private chat. Weiwei's assistant. Isn't it that our fourth son was captivated by your confident and heroic demeanor in martial arts competitions? I must worship you as my teacher. My second son and I thought that just being silly like fourth son might not protect you, so we quickly came to help. Private chat. Read Weiwei. Just you 3 small accounts, still protecting me. Private chat. Weiwei's assistant. We are protecting you from being deceived, but it seems like we are one step too late. You have already been deceived into getting married. Private chat. Read Weiwei. I was deceived. In this game, I got married to Nahe just for the Xia couple PK competition. Private chat. Weiwei's assistant. Do you know the real identity of Yixiao helplessly? Private chat. Read Wei Wei. Do you know the identity of the great god? Private chat. Wei Wei big assistant. According to the analysis of our dormitory's third person, it is highly likely that he is Xiao Nai from our department. Private chat. Read Wei Wei. Xiao Na equals what's the point of a smile? Private chat. Wei Wei's assistant. Our fourth brother said that on the day he saw you, he also saw Xiao Na in the internet cafe. Private chat. Read Wei Wei. So coincidental. Private chat. Wei Wei big assistant. Do you have the feeling of being targeted by a fox? Private chat. Read Wei Wei. Xiao Na is a great god, how can you say he is a fox? Private chat. Wei Wei's big follower. He is the public enemy of all male students in the department. No, it's for the whole school. Private chat. Read Wei Wei. So serious. Private chat. Wei Wei's assistant. That's necessary. He only saw you playing games and got married to you in a few days. Are you still saying he's not a fox? Private chat. Read Wei Wei. At this moment, Wei Wei's heart was pounding wildly, both pleasantly surprised and panicked. That's Xiao Na, my god. Do you really like me? Still. Wei Wei, why is your face so red? Cici was eating her own snack while carefully looking at Wei Wei. Not to mention, this will make my face blush, like a ripe peach, making it particularly tempting. Her face is red, but there is a deer in her heart. Xiaoling patted the facial mask on her face, deliberately making it slightly. To be honest, are you missing a man? Speak up, speak up. Erxi also ran over to join the fun, thinking of which wild man. I couldn't dodge the slightest glance, so I quickly interrupted the entanglement of a few people and applied for a 10-minute uninterrupted explanation. A few minutes later, Shi, Cici, and Xiaoling didn't know what to say. Upon careful consideration, they thought it was normal. The only surprise was that Xiao Nai, the great deity, also showed signs of intention, which was very demoralizing. This kind of deity feels much more familiar. As everyone was quiet, Cici suddenly spoke weakly. Yeah, such a great deity is a person. She exclaimed repeatedly. Our little brother is right. He looks like a black fox. Xiaoling took the facial mask off her face. But if he is not black, he can't be a god. We should have expected that. Well, one of the hidden attributes of the great god. However, Wei Wei, what do you think? You haven't fallen yet. Cici continued to eat the pine nuts of her 3 squirrels and asked curiously. Oh my god, it's impossible to say you're not tempted, but let it go with the flow. I kept giving myself a little encouragement, and I'm not bad either. Yeah, Wei Wei, you have to hold on. Cici peeled another pine nut and stuffed it into her mouth, muttering, but the 3 elementary school boys are really cute. Their names are actually Wei Wei's follower 1, 2, 4. Ha ha ha, She smiled like a fool before suddenly stopping his doubts and asking, what about the third of them? It's the 3rd time again. The god is also the 3rd time. Xiaoling hung the towel on the balcony. You say, will this 3rd person be moved like a great god when facing the slightest? Maybe they have a girlfriend. That's why they don't play around with their roommates, said the slightest hint of indifference. That's impossible. Our big clock would sneak a peek at a beautiful woman if it's okay. Xiaoling firmly denied the slightest answer before continuing, maybe this is a growing little fox. Yes, those combined with the 3 characters belong to the fox. They are all fox spirits. Erxi couldn't help but think of something, feeling silly and happy alone. Bei Weiwei suddenly thought of something and asked Shi, it seems that Wang Yue from your family is the 3rd in the dormitory. You don't think it's just a few of them in the dormitory? A few girls, upon hearing the faint words, looked at Shi with some suspicion. Shi's cute and adorable eyes blinked a few times, and she said with some embarrassment, "I don't know, can't it be so coincidental?" Xiaoling looked at Shi's stupidity and threw her facial mask into the garbage can. Then she said, "It's very possible that the fourth in Wang Yu's dormitory had a meal with Bei Weiwei. Maybe they just saw Weiwei playing games and wanted to know Weiwei. Isn't that right?" Cici saw them guessing there, chewing the dried fruit in their mouths, and then she said firmly, "Just ask a little bit. What are you playing the game of guessing me?" Wang Yu looked at the boss and the others, and had already told Bei Weiwei the truth about the matter. He put himself in a different position and thought about how he would handle it if he were Xiao Na. It seems that the only way is to confess directly. Did I accidentally provide an assist? Thinking of this possibility, Wang Yu was very frustrated. He could even think of it as a salted fish, and that Fox could definitely think of it as well. Before Wang Yu could feel sad for long, the dormitory leader and the second person surrounded him and said, "Third person, when did you talk to roommate Bei Weiwei about whom even we kept confidential?" Wang Yu knew from their appearance that Bei Weiwei had probably guessed, so he asked. However, looking at the two imposing figures, Wang Yu didn't hesitate either. He quickly shook the blame and said, "You have to blame Lao Si for this." "What does it have to do with me when you talk about your partner?" asked the fourth person, who was watching the play on the side. The boss and the second thought that the fourth knew about Wang Yu's partner, but seeing the silly and cute appearance of the fourth, they knew it was impossible, so they grabbed Wang Yu with even greater force. Wang Yu couldn't avoid it, so he quickly explained, "That day." After listening, the leader and the second person released Wang Yu. The leader, who was a bit depressed, said, "What luck are you? You can even find a girlfriend like this. Please treat us to dinner another day so we can get to know each other." The second person's eyes lit up and he excitedly said, "Call the flower department dormitory. Didn't you say they have a beautiful girl named Cici in their dormitory? She's still single, isn't she?" The boss immediately returned to Wang Yu's side and said, "It's better to choose a day than to collide. Let's just meet them today at noon, and I'll invite them in your name." The second person saw that the boss was also thinking and wanted to take action against Cici, so he angrily cursed, "Boss, that's your sister. Lol." The boss returned to his position, typing while disdainfully saying, "Maybe it's your sister. Lol." End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Identifying Risk Factors. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Identifying Risk Factors. After Xiaonai went online at night, she used to summon Weiwei to do the heroic couple mission together. In the past, whenever I called, I could see the faint moment that came in a blink of an eye, but this time I haven't come for a while. In fact, when I saw Xiaonai's call online, I was leisurely flipping through exercises, while the game automatically mixed in with the team and hung an automatic. Seeing Xiaonai's call, there was a sudden panic. From childhood to adulthood, I forgot how much I refused to pursue. I won't feel any pressure. After all, I'm used to it. But this is Xiao Na. Feeling slightly conflicted and at a loss, Xiao Na's eyebrows slowly furrowed over there. Based on the intuition of the dark man, something uncontrollable must have happened. Thinking of this, Xiao Na picked up his phone and after some consideration, he dialed Yu Banshan. Then I easily passed through Yu Banshan and learned about what happened in his afternoon and micro games. Wang Yu was reading a book when he suddenly heard the dormitory senior lament, "Weiwei went to brush up on couple tasks. It seems that we were buried in thunder this morning and easily resolved." Jia Honghai, the second in command, sighed sorrowfully. Xiao Nai really lives up to his reputation. Huang Tao, the boss, spoke in a relaxed tone, although he was very sarcastic, full of admiration. Wang Yu looked at the three brothers in the dormitory and summarized them, "You are called the three saints trying to meditate. Boss, you can find Xiao Nai and ask him to give you a candy, but you can't let him get your help for nothing." "That's right. I heard that senior brother Xiaonai's own company matches our profession very well. Second brother Jia Honghai changed his mind quickly. The third person is right, I'll go find Xiaonai and congratulate her on bringing back the beauty she's holding. The eldest person quickly defected. These two goods quickly defected to the enemy, making Wang Yue feel that their idol must be Durant. However, it seems like paying attention is not bad. For Durant, as long as he can win the championship, who cares? Someone has taken the lead in defecting to the enemy, and Wang Yue is not a fool either. He feels like he can also learn from Xiaonai, not to mention the computer technology, and even the level of talent is worth learning. Maybe he can also become proficient. As Wang Yue had predicted, with a small push from his side, Xiaonai took over Bai Weiwei. This black-bellied fox is decisive enough to teach Wang Yue the divine reaction on the spot. Because Wang Yue picked up a cute second happiness, Xiaonai also took over Bai Weiwei in advance, and many things in the plot did not happen. Xiao Na, who has Wang Yue's memory, did not have a car accident, and the two of them naturally won the championship of the season's couple competition. Even the most classic scene of Xiaonai and Bai Weiwei's offline first meeting is gone, and time slowly passes. Wang Yue and Shi naturally walk together, eating together and soaking in the library like conjoined dolls. Even after Wang Yue finished his freshman year courses, he accompanied Shi to class together, as if competing with Xiaonai and Bai Weiwei to sprinkle dog food. After Shi had a boyfriend named Wang Yue, she didn't go to play with Xianyu anymore, and even didn't attend the interview with Xianyu Technology. The little girl tasted the taste of love for the first time, and her mind was filled with the shadow of Wang Yue. Do you remember anything else? On this day, a group of people didn't go to the dungeon, so they all ran to Weiwei's home in the game to chat. Weiwei's big attendant. Weiwei's senior sister, are you going to cheer Xiao for today's senior basketball farewell game? Read Weiwei. Go, let's all go to our dormitories. Weiwei's fourth attendant. Weiwei's senior sister, I may also play then. Remember to help me cheer. Yu Gong moves mountains. Are you sure you need my third sister in law to cheer you on? Weiwei's fourth assistant. What's going on? Yu Gong moves the mountain. Xiaonai's stingy demeanor, I really admire your courage. Read Weiwei. Don't worry, I'm here, not afraid of him. Yu Gong moves the mountain. Weiwei junior sister, just as the third brother passed behind me, he was opening his computer. Read Weiwei. She asked me for something, so I will go offline first. Weiwei's grand tutor. Weiwei's senior sister is strong on the outside but weak on the inside. Weiwei's second assistant. Senior brother Yu Gong, have you asked senior brother Xiao Na about our summer trip to your company to help? Smiling helplessly. Sure, you two can live together in the dormitory and bring your third son. Yu Banshan looked at Xiao Na in surprise, with a look on her face that I didn't know you. How could you agree? I've been dragging it out for a long time, and I dare not agree. Upon hearing his roommate's question, Xiao Na succinctly said, it's better to keep a close eye on the instability factors in their dormitory. Yu Banshan suddenly understood, I understand. You can spare no action from them at a glance. Xiao Na's movements froze for a moment, and she said helplessly, it's a clear view. Besides, they say their third son is a master, and I also want to see it. Yu Banshan was not at all embarrassed. He had long been accustomed to it and only gloated, saying, if you keep an eye on me, I will mourn for their third son. Xiao Na was slightly found there that he told Yu Banshan that he had been confessed since he was young, and he was hurriedly offline. Just after going offline, I suddenly thought something was wrong. What am I panicking about? When you are not so straightforward, you must show your composure. Yes, that's it. Bai Weiwei encouraged himself while logging back into the game. As soon as the faint figure appeared in the crowd, it was immediately discovered. Monkey whine. Weiwei junior sister, why did you come back again? Reed said slightly. Oh, she said, don't delay me in the game, she just needs to find a trace. A few people in Xiaonu's dormitory exchanged glances at each other. San Sa is really brave and talented. At this moment, Huang Tao, the leader of Wang Yu's dormitory, broke the silence. Weiwei's grand attendant. Weiwei's senior sister, why did you agree to be Xiaonu's girlfriend so quickly back then? We thought we had to delay for 6 months anyway. Monkey whine. Yes, I also want to know. Yugong moves mountains, +1 Mozart, +1 Weiwei's second assistant. Same as above Weiwei's 4 followers. Same as above +1 watching their commotion, I finally calmed down a little and my face turned red again. Thinking about what happened that day and what Xiaonu said, my heart felt sweet. While Beiwei was struggling with how to answer everyone, Xiaonu suddenly spoke up. With a faint smile, it was enchanting, and a fleeting glance puzzled your heart. Mozart, Shani's roommate Hao Mei. I knew it must have been Shani's voluntary confession. Yugong, monkey, you two lost. We'll treat you later. Monkey whine. Shouldn't the third person turn the spring breeze into rain and moisten things silently? Foolish old man moves the mountain. The monkey is right. How could it turn into taking down Weiwei Jr. sister with lightning speed and deceiving others? Mozart. After careful consideration of this matter, I found that the relationship between the third party and Weiwei has rapidly improved since Weiwei added a few more followers. Weiwei's second assistant. I know about this. Weiwei's grand tutor. I also know. Weiwei's fourth assistant. How come I don't know? Lu Wei looked at the chat message and turned his head in confusion to ask the two brothers in the dormitory, boss, what did you two do without telling me? Boss Huang Tao and Jia Honghai are too lazy to bother with this silly person, always feeling that his intelligence is a sign function. Yugong moves the mountain. Speak up. Monkey whine. Hurry up. Mozart. I'll go move a little Mazar. Read Weiwei. It's better not to say it. Smiling helplessly. I see that you still have too little work in your hands, and you can still chat here leisurely. Mozart. 996 still has rest time, third, you can't squeeze us. Yugong Yishan. Yes, third brother, you cannot abuse child labor. Monkey whine. You two stick mallets, and that's how old Sand diverted his attention. What is the key point? Classmates, hurry up and talk to me. I have all the melon seeds ready here. Weiwei's grand tutor. This is actually a story of two outcomes in one case. Weiwei's second assistant. Yes, my fourth and your third were at the same time and place when they saw the spirited and heroic appearance of Weiwei's games. Weiwei's grand tutor. My fourth son is delighted to see the game and wants to learn PK with Weiwei's senior sister. Senior brother Xiaonu is determined by his appearance and wants to marry Weiwei back home. At this moment, Wang Yu returned from the library. Huang Tao, the boss, looked up and saw that it was Wang Yu. He quickly said to him, "Third, senior brother Xiaonu invited us to his company's summer internship, and he specifically asked us to bring you with him." After listening to Huang Tao's words, Wang Yu felt a little uneasy. How could he feel like he was being targeted? He wasn't ready to deal with such a big shot yet, so what should he do? However, Wang Yu didn't care about these things. He didn't steal someone's wife, so he said calmly, "You tell him, I need to take care of my family." The boss glanced at Wang Yu and said disdainfully, "Why don't you bring your girlfriend with you? Are you not afraid that Xiaonu doesn't want you?" Wang Yu looked at the boss like an idiot and said, "Press your IQ button and think carefully before talking to me." The boss immediately understood, "Gao. If you do this, in front of Weiwei's roommate, Xiaonu will definitely feel embarrassed to bother about our dismantling." Old Four asked in confusion, why would Xiaonu compromise with our third sister? Lol. The second patted the fourth's shoulder and sighed, if your third sister law goes, can Bei Weiwei not go? At this point, the boss had already completed the task and raised his head, saying, Shani has agreed and even said he will arrange to take us with him. The mistress's plan is really effective. After listening, Wang Yu smiled and said, based on what you said about the game, it can be inferred that Xiao Na sometimes holds grudges. Now that we have given him a favor, we can also go to his place with peace of mind. The leader and the second looked at each other and said in unison, Hi. Old C watched the performance of his three brothers, feeling somewhat puzzled. He shook his head and continued playing games. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Food Protection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Food Protection. A few people in Wang Yu's dormitory breathed a sigh of relief as Xiao Na continued to sprinkle dog food in the game. Yu Gong Yishan. I said that after meeting you all that day, why did Xiao Na call me and ask? So he was inquiring about this matter. Mozart. Xiao Na made a good decision on the spot. As soon as the situation was exposed, he immediately launched a general attack on Weiwei Junior Sister. Monkey Wine. Weiwei Junior Sister, how did the third brother confess to you? Are there any details? We can also learn from the third person and apply what we have learned in the future. Smiling helplessly. First of all, you have a target audience for implementation. Weiwei, let's go, let's ignore these single dogs. The senior basketball farewell game in the evening will be held as scheduled at 7 p.m. Wang Yu finally met the legendary deity Xiao Na, still handsome as always. He also really wants to become catching. The two groups in the game are one group of members from the senior department team and one group of members from the other department teams. Wang Yu went to guard the water dispenser as usual today. A group of 4 people from Beiwei Micro Dormitory also came over this time. The dormitory leader and the second person quickly gave the preoccupied space to Weiwei and the others, and introduced Wang Yu to Weiwei and the others. Wang Yu simply greeted them and went to the water dispenser to wait. After Weiwei and the others sat down, they said cautiously, Weiwei, are you familiar with the younger Marshall brothers? Has Erxi's boyfriend always been like this? After thinking for a moment, Bei glanced at Erxi and then said, I'm not very familiar with them. Their third son has never played games before. I heard them say that Wang Yu is quite impressive. Not only does he have a solid foundation in computer science, but he also knows a lot about mechanical design. He designed a voice-controlled door opener for their dormitory, which can accurately recognize their 4 voices when opening the door. So amazing. He's only a freshman now. With a hint of surprise on his face. You see, I got it right. This is a growing little fox. Otherwise, how could Erxi be eaten to death by him? Shaoling looked as if I had anticipated everything. Today is called a farewell competition, but in fact, it is also an alternative performance competition. On stage, everyone presented their unique skills and attracted a group of girls in the audience to scream loudly. Especially today, Xiao Na did a 360-degree turnaround layup there, which attracted girls with flushed faces. Huang Tao, the eldest brother, sat closely next to Xiao Na. Seeing Xiao Na's mischievous appearance, he couldn't help but say to Weiwei, Weiwei senior sister, it's not me who is picking on me. Xiao Na has a family and is still attracting bees and butterflies on top. You don't care about him. However, senior brother Xiao Na played really well. I don't know how Wang Yu played, she said heartlessly. Weiwei senior sister, even those who have a partner in your dormitory have been captivated. If you look at the girls around you, their eyes will turn green. When it's time to take action, take action. Jia Honghai heard their conversation and quickly reached out to answer. Upon hearing what they said, Erxi also felt that she had performed quite poorly just now. So she quickly paid attention to Weiwei and said, Weiwei, why don't you go to the sidelines to get a bottle of water for senior brother Xiaonai and take an oath of sovereignty? Yeah, Wei Wei. Hurry up and go. She said, taking out a bottle of sports drink and emphasizing, new, unopened. According to Bei Weiwei's personality, such a thing could not have been done. However, being instigated by the boss and the second, Cici Erxi added more materials and fire. Looking around at the girls who were eager to swallow Xiao Na in one gulp, she took the bottle of drink in Cici's hand and walked to the sidelines. Wang Yue was sitting by the sidelines teasing Lao Si blindly. As soon as he saw Bei Wei slightly hiring Tingting to walk to the sidelines, he immediately understood what she was doing. Wang Yue quickly stood up and walked up to Wei Wei, saying with a smile, Wei Wei senior sister, you did a good job. It's time for you to take back the reins. Junior brother is just smart, no wonder he has been so devoted to coaxing us, she. The boss of your dormitory and the three of them always praise you. Wei Wei was noticed by Wang Yue, but she didn't panic. Recently, she has been practicing with Xiao Nai very shamelessly. Generally speaking, I'm not inferior to your family's Xiao Nai. She is too silly and cute, I have to work hard. Wang Yue changed the topic with a smile on his face. Wei Wei, you're just too low. Key. It should have been known that Xiao Nai is a servant with a wife long ago. Wei Wei was about to say something more when he saw Xiao Nai walking from the field to the sidelines. He took the drink from Wei Wei's hand, unscrewed the lid, and took a big sip. Senior brother Xiao Nai. Wang Yue quickly greeted Xiao Nai. Well, I often hear people talk about you, that's great. Xiao Na always spoke calmly. However, if he hadn't just stood with Wang Yue and quickly stepped down to protect his food, Wang Yue would have believed more in his composure. Senior brother is still impressive. Without graduation, the company already has a considerable scale. Wang Yue wondered when Xiao Nai had paid attention to him. He couldn't have been betrayed by the three dormitory members. I already know that Huang Tao and his team are coming to my place for exercise during the summer vacation. I would like to make a sincere invitation to you and Erxi here. Xiao Nai quickly changed the topic as she saw Wang Yu's expression of being able to accompany him to the end. Without hesitation, Wang Yue readily agreed. He has been in this world for so long and has always cherished this learning opportunity. He has also lived a very fulfilling life, even having an additional girlfriend. However, this is not his own world after all. Perhaps by following the plot closely, he can go back. Xiao Nai is also very satisfied with Wang Yu's joining, and he often hears about the newly rising freshman Wang. Not fond of participating in club activities, library patron, excellent academic performance, proficient in computer technology and mechanical design, especially with unique insights into the gaming industry. Bring him to my company for a 2-month summer inspection and see the situation again. Bei Weiwei looked at Xiao Nai and Wang Yue standing together, which was particularly eye-catching. How could the atmosphere between these two be so ambiguous? So, she pretended to be serious and said to Shonai, come with me to the stands and sit down. You have a married man, be careful to protect yourself. What madam said. Xiao Nai said as she took Wei Wei's hand and went straight to Wei Wei's support team, without saying goodbye or anything. Is her sense of existence so low? Wang Yue watched silently as Xiao Nai and Wei Wei left, feeling like they were so compatible together. However, does Xiao Nai look quite handsome like this? So, he also learned Xiao Nai's movements, walked to the water dispenser, tidied up his jersey, and sat next to Lu Wei with his chest up and head up. Lu Wei watched Wang Yu's pretentious movements and felt a chill. He quickly moved aside and kept a distance from the goods, afraid of being infected by him. In the second half of the game, Wang Yue and Lu Wei also made waves for a few minutes, and Wang Bryant made a comeback. In just a few minutes, Wang Yue used various handsome movements to pass over several senior brothers. Senior brothers in their senior year saw this junior brother snatch their limelight when he started to wave, so he made several consecutive passes, forcing Wang Yue to stop the ball and pass it out each time. Wang Yue said helplessly to Ban Shan, senior brother, you're also included in the performance competition. You don't uphold morality. Yu Banshan patted Wang Yu's shoulder and said very seriously, if you keep pretending like this, you'll get beaten up. Chiu Yongho passed by and heard their conversation. He smirked and punched Wang Yu, saying, Xiao Nai, that shameless person just came down, and you came up again, saying we don't speak of morality. Wang Yu saw the situation and played a few more balls, so he took the initiative to apply to see his dear water dispenser. He felt that if he continued to wave like this, he might have to be carried out today. However, after looking at the water dispenser for a while, Wang Yu suddenly realized that I can also sprinkle dog food. Why bother looking at a broken water dispenser? So Wang Yu stood up again, patted Lao Si's shoulder, and said very solemnly, I'll go accompany your third sister. In law, and you'll have to keep an eye on this water dispenser. Lao Si looked at Wang Yu with some silence. He felt that today's Lao San was too abnormal, even more eerie than the last basketball game. It seemed that he couldn't play basketball with Wang Yu in the future. Watching Wang Yu learn from Xiao Nai and walk slowly to Er Shi's side, Lao Si solemnly swears to the water dispenser. Whoever plays a game with the third player again is like a hammer. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Novice Hackers Go Online. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Novice Hackers Go Online. The vacation was coming soon, and Wang Yu nervously called the world's mother, saying that she would go to her senior brother's company to help during the summer vacation. She patiently listened to half an hour of chatter, but in the end, her father couldn't bear it and said a few words to Wang Yu before hanging up. Wang Yu could feel a sense of disgust from the speed at which he hung up the phone, and he didn't know if it was true, but he quickly forgot about it. On the first day of summer vacation, Wang Yu went to the hair salon to get a new hairstyle, and then went to Xiaonai's ZE Technology to report. The process is similar to that of Bai Weiwei in the TV series. He followed Yu Banshan around the company first and learned about the basic situation of the company. In fact, the office space is quite large. After all, there are several departments, unlike those few people on TV. After wandering around and recognizing the person in the company, Yu Banshan escorted Wang Yu back to Xiao Na's office and then opened the door to go out for business. After waiting for Yu Banshan to leave the office, Xiao Nai gestured for Wang Yu to sit on one side of the sofa, then sat down on the other side and said directly, ZE Technology is a startup company, and every department is very short of people. As for which department you want to go to, I haven't figured it out yet. I want to hear your opinion before making arrangements. Let's talk about the planning department. Currently, every department actually has core members, and I haven't been the one who has worked the most. I can't do much to help. The planning department, on the other hand, takes care of senior Xiao Nai. Let me help you relieve some pressure. Wang Yu carefully recalled the company situation he just learned and expressed his own thoughts. Wang Yu learned from Xiao Nai's tone when speaking, and unconsciously, there was also a hint of flavor. It seems that junior brother Wang is very confident in his abilities, and I look forward to you bringing this confidence to his work. Xiao Nai saw some reflection of himself from this junior student and also wanted to cultivate it to see how much surprise it could bring to him. I won't disappoint senior brother Xiao Nai's hope. Wang Yu stood up and extended his hand to Xiao Nai. Happy cooperation, Xiao Nai reached out and shook hands with Wang Yu before tentatively asking, as for your salary issue. Even if the salary is included, I actually want to learn more about hacking technology from senior brother Xiao. I am very interested in that, Wang Yu said politely to Xiao Nai as he loosened his grip. Salary is necessary. As for hacking skills, Wang Shidi can always come to me if he has any problems. Xiao Nai finally saw a bit of the nervousness that young people should have from Wang Yu, and couldn't help but curl his lips. Wang Yu came out of Xiao Nai's office and found the position arranged by Yu Banshan for him. He opened a document on the computer and leaned back in his chair, thinking about the current situation of the company, constantly pondering in his mind. At present, ZE Technology mainly focuses on the work of the ghost of the beautiful girl. In fact, the main work of the planning department has been completed, and there is no need to intervene in the details. How can I prove my worth and let Xianyu teach me with heart? After thinking for a long time, Wang Yue suddenly remembered his own world. There were several versions of legendary games that seemed to have reasonable settings and longer lifespans. So I selected a product endorsed by Louis Fei from the middle and started planning. After working hard for over a week, I finally managed to complete the plan before the dormitory boss and the three of them came to report to the company. Then, I ran to Xiaonui's office and threw a thick plan book on Xiaonui's desk. Then, ignoring Xiaonui's surprised gaze, he poured a cup of hot water for himself and staged Xianyu lying on the sofa in the office. Time ticks by, it's a bit like lyrics. Anyway, it was Wang Yue who finished drinking water and was really impatient. He walked around the company a few times before being called directly to the office by Xiaonyu. Junior brother Wang, your plan is very detailed, so detailed that you can easily find investment opportunities with this plan on your own. Xiaonyu looked at Wang Yue seriously, but you have yielded in our company. What is the reason for this? At this moment, Xiaonyu thought a lot. He knew that the student across from him didn't change his face even when he saw Weiwei, making him feel that this person had ulterior motives for him. Don't mention it, sometimes this person's thoughts can't relax. As soon as they relax, this wild idea rushes into their mind, and in an instant, Xiaonyu almost believes that he has been taken in by a man. After all, after Wang Yue entered this TV series, because Xiaonyu is simply the center of this world, there are legends about Xiaonyu everywhere. Unconsciously, Wang Yue wanted to learn from this amazing person, change his salty fish temperament, try to approach the male god as much as possible, and strive to return to his original world. He could also attract the attention of beautiful women like Xiaonyu. After such a long period of training, there is a hint of Xiaonyu on Wang Yue's body, and some senior students at Qingda affectionately refer to Wang Yue as the little male god. This title also seems to have gained recognition from more and more people, making Wang Yue both complacent and depressed. He's not too young, he's obviously very big, okay. The air became quieter and quieter, and Xiaonyu's gaze became increasingly unfriendly. Wang Yue felt that if he didn't say anything, he might have lost the opportunity to learn. So, Wang Yue quickly broke the silence and said, Senior brother Xiao, first of all, I don't think it's a good choice for me to invest alone. The capital market has always been cannibalistic. Wang Yue calmly walked to the water dispenser, poured himself a glass of water, walked back, and then said, secondly, I don't think senior brother Xiao is the kind of boss with unclear rewards and punishments. Finally, I am really optimistic about ZE technology. I want to join in and enrich myself. Senior brother Xiaonyu should understand what I mean. Wang Yue took a sip of water, glanced at Xiaonyu speechlessly, and added. Senior brother Xiao, I am a male with a love for women. Xiaonyu was extremely embarrassed by Wang Yue, but his dark and masculine nature prevented him from showing any unnatural behavior. After all, as long as he was not embarrassed, it was definitely not him who was embarrassed. Your plan is great and perfect, but there are a few situations that need to be resolved. Xiaonyu became serious this time. The copyright issue is quite easy to negotiate, but if we were to produce this game, we would be short-staffed. After all, almost all of our manpower is used for the production of The Ghost of the Beautiful Girl, and we don't have any extra personnel to work on this project. Xiaonyu opened the planning case again and said as he flipped through it. You said that, this is your problem, boss. My plan is completed, and the next step is for you to be busy. I happen to take advantage of this time to learn hacking technology. With you as a big shot, I feel like my skills are about to take off. Wang Yue was very excited in his heart. Hacker, the legendary profession. Xiaonyu always felt something was not right when he listened to this junior, but he definitely wouldn't think he was wrong, so it must be this junior's problem. So Xiaonyu quickly drove the goods out. I will send you a website later, which is a gathering place for hackers. Newcomers like you should learn from it first, and if you don't understand, come and ask me. Xianyu said without looking up. When Wang Yue left Xianyu's office, he still had an inexplicable expression on his face. The world of the big shot is really confusing, so I shook my head helplessly, pushed open the door, and walked out. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Hacker's Initial Experience. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Hacker's initial experience. On that day, as soon as Mayron's senior brother went to work, he found that the computer screen had been replaced. The first thing that came to his mind was Wang Yue, who had recently fallen into a frenzy while learning hacking technology. However, Hao Mei turned around but couldn't find Wang Yue, so she angrily pushed aside Xianyu's office and slammed the table in front of Xianyu. Xianyu, Wang Yue doesn't do anything every day and causes trouble everywhere. You don't care, do you? Speak up, what's going on? Xianyu helplessly saved the document and raised her head to signal Hao Mei to speak slowly. I came early this morning and the picture of the beautiful woman on the computer screen was replaced with a monk's temple. Hao Mei got angry when she mentioned this. Who is Wang Yue looking down on? Isn't he just flirting with a girl in the third sister.in.law dormitory? I'm at least a top scorer in the province. The cute girl who chased me back then can get rid of it. Secondly, it's certain, the unit is not clear. Xianyu heard a strong sense of annoyance from Hao Mei's tone, and it was time to relieve some pressure on the goods. Are you so sure it's Wang Yue? Who else is there besides him? Hao Mei's hair exploded upon hearing this. That dull face looked at Xianyu with grievances, and Xianyu felt a chill. Recently, the company has been experiencing a bit of yang prosperity and yin decline, and each one is so strange. Wang Yue has been fond of giving people computers recently, but they are usually limited to the 3 little pitiful ones in his dormitory. Xianyu also admires Wang Yue. In the past few days, black people have been playing computer games and sneaking away. When they quit, the handling is relatively rough, but who hasn't come this way yet? You're right, but who else is there if it's not him? Hao Mei muttered, unconsciously looking at Xianyu. Xianyu couldn't bear this product anymore, so she closed her computer and went to Hao Mei's location. It's not Wang Yue. Xianyu knocked wildly, and within 5 minutes, Xianyu gave the answer. After another dazzling operation, he stood up and said to Hao Mei, I left something for your computer. If that person comes back, I will know immediately. After Wang Yue and a few brothers from the dormitory arrived at the company, they immediately learned about this matter. Huang Tao and the 3 of them didn't react much, so they each went their own way. After all, they were used to this kind of computer hacking. But today, someone else was also criticized, and my heart suddenly felt a lot more comfortable. Upon hearing this situation, Wang Yue knew what was going on and ran to Hao Mei's side to make fun of it. Brother Mei, what kind of heartless thing are you doing? They've all knocked on your door and made you stand firm like a jade. Go there, it's all about you. Didn't you see that I'm bothering you? Hao Mei was restless as she had time to play with him and impatiently drove Wang Yue away. Calm down, Brother Mei, calm down. Think about it. Whoever did this must have had some grudges with you. Think about it, did you ever disappoint anyone in high school? Wang Yue's voice was not low, and as soon as the others heard about it, they ran over to join in the fun. Yeah, Hao Mei, talk about your love history. Long Tao Yi. Brother Mei. After a moment of chaos, Hao Mei stopped working and said, I didn't hear anything outside the window back then. I was only focused on reading books about sages. Otherwise, how did you think I came to be the top scorer in this province? Brother Mei, can these 2 things be the one that cannot be loved? Of course, Wang Yue wouldn't let Hao Mei go so easily. Hao Mei couldn't help but start recalling the possibility of every high school classmate when he said so. When Hao Mei was lost in beautiful fantasies, Xianyu suddenly came over with a computer and said seriously in a dark tone, he's here. Why don't Wang Yu give it a try? Hao Mei quickly moved away from her position, and Wang Yu sat in front of the computer. With a crackling sound, the computer screen suddenly turned black. Wang Yu turned his head and said to Xiao Nai, "Senior brother Xiao, I can't do it. I expected it early, I have found him." Xiao Nai's face remained calm, and everyone quickly gathered around to watch. I saw Xiao Nai lightly press enter and the camera across from me suddenly turned on. The environment across from me was quite noisy, and a slightly thin figure appeared in front of the camera. It seemed that I didn't expect it to be detected. After a moment of contemplation, he calmed down and directly opened the voice, "I have no malicious intent." "I know." Xiao Nai remained calm as usual, as if everything was under control. However, Wang Yu felt a bit depressed. He thought Xiao Nai was practicing for him, but he didn't expect him to be cannon fodder. Xiao Nai couldn't pretend anything by himself. "This fox is just cunning." "It's you. Why change my computer photo?" Hao Mei, seeing that she was still familiar with the little brother who cooked delicious food, instantly lost half of her anger. "She doesn't deserve you," Ko said calmly. Xiao Nai looked at the person across from him and then turned his head to look at Hao Mei. He suddenly understood and said, "Come to our company and lighten Hao Mei's burden." "Okay." Ko didn't hesitate for a second. "That's it. Hao Mei, the guy across from you, you're in charge. I'll follow you when I come." Xiao Nai pushed the boat with ease and arranged the person for Hao Mei. "No problem." Hao Mei's baby face cracked at the corners of her mouth. Hao Mei took the initiative and brought Ko to the company the next day. Wang Yu had an additional master, which reduced his harassment of Xiao Na. In his spare time, Xiao Na quickly remembered his little daughter-in-law who had returned to his mother's house. Wei Wei worked as a tutor at home and received his salary. He quickly bought a phone to harass Xiao Na. As a result, when I turned around, I received a message from Xiao Nai, "Slightly, flowers are blooming on the street. But I'm slowly returning." As soon as Xiao Nai's message arrived, he couldn't sit still. After enduring for less than 7 days, I hastily ended my tutoring and rushed back to the imperial capital with just one plane ticket. This time, the boss informed us that they had arrived at Xiaoling's place in advance for placement. The next day, he went straight to the company to check his job with a loving lunch. When he arrived slightly, Xiao Naijing transformed into teacher Xiao to guide Wang Yu and Ko in the offensive and defensive battle, and a group of people from the company who had not gone to lunch also gathered there to watch. "Where did Yu Banshan shout, 'I'll bet 10 minutes to KO and win Wang Yu in this game'?" "I'll bet 15 minutes. Xiu Yongho also joined in the fun. At the busiest moment, no one noticed Wei Wei's arrival, and Wei Wei curiously slowly approached Xiao Na's side. However, as soon as she walked over, Xiao Nai turned her head and looked over as if feeling something. For a moment, their eyes entwined, as if no one else existed. Subsequently, Xiao Nai grabbed Wei Wei and the two of them secretly sneaked away, leaving behind a group of people to liven up. After Xiao Nai left, Wang Yu persisted for a few minutes and quickly shouted, Xiao Gu, you can't just face death without saving." As a result, he shouted a few times but received no response. Turning around, I realized that Xiao Nai had already slipped away at some point. Subsequently, within a few minutes, the battle came to an end. Wang Yu shook his head helplessly, stood up, gestured to Huang Tao and the others, and then shouted at Yu Banshan and the others, "Ko, Brother Mei, let's go eat." At this moment, Yu Banshan realized that Xiao Na was missing and asked the people around her about it, but no one knew. A group of old masters were just too focused, and surprisingly, no one saw when Xiao Na left. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. The first move of the great god, Ox Knife Test. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. The first move of the great god, Ox Knife Test. Yu Banshan picked up her phone and called Xiao Nai, but was unexpectedly rejected. She stared at her phone and couldn't believe it, muttering, Old San didn't answer the phone. Xiao Nai probably went to find senior sister Bei, Jia Honghai answered. When everyone heard Jia Honghai's words, they immediately exploded. When did senior sister Weiwei return to Beijing? Xiao Na is also too good at hiding, right? At that moment, I heard Wang Yu say, senior sister Weiwei came over just now. Look. Originally, Wang Yu didn't know when he would return to his seat. His computer was playing a loop of Weiwei entering the company, and Xiao Nai pulled Weiwei away from this scene. They actually eloped. Yu Banshan stared at her phone, unable to believe it. The third person is not the first day to be so opposite sex and inhumane. Chiu Yongho sighed and waved at everyone. Let's go eat too. Everyone dispersed in a crowd, and Wang Yu and the four of them followed Chiu Yongho to the restaurant downstairs and asked for a private room. While waiting for the dishes, Wang Yu used his phone to send a message to Air Shi, urging silly girl to come to Beijing quickly. Xiao Nai couldn't just scatter dog food alone. Who hasn't a girlfriend yet? Wang Yu is sending messages here, and everyone is also condemning Xiao Nai's unjust behavior together. It wasn't until all the dishes were served that everyone stopped criticizing. Everyone is so familiar now. When the 8 young men start eating, it's like a whirlwind. Hao Meiren is cute, but he eats very quickly. When others are at most half full, he has already eaten well. Hao Mei wiped her mouth, picked up her drink, took a sip of water, and let out a long sigh. I also had a sincere relationship with netizens back then, but unfortunately I made a mistake. Who are you talking to? Why haven't you heard from your senior brothers? Boss Huang Tao is a standard comedian, always so timely. Hao Mei said, it's not in the ghost of Xianyu. Before Xianyu Ghost, I played a game called Fantasy Planet. I was playing the Heavenly Doctor inside. It seems that Tianyi can only create female accounts. Brother Mei, do you play female accounts? Old C played various games all year round and happened to have played this game. He was very surprised and couldn't tell. Brother Mei actually played with a female account. This character looks to my taste, he explained, but everyone had a ghostly expression on their faces. However, seeing Hao Mei's tendency to become angry and embarrassed, everyone quickly let him continue. Later, my friends got married, and I thought I couldn't be so alone. I just wanted to find someone to marry. Hao Mei said seriously, but everyone was stunned. Lu Wei trembled and quickly sat away from Hao Mei. But you're playing with a female account, you're looking for a man to marry. Wrong, I'm planning to find a demon with a male profession and a lot of female players. That's why I'm looking for such a woman to get married. I even picked a very poetic name, and it's sure to be a female, called Hand-Pickable Star. This name is so domineering, why would it be a woman? Everyone was puzzled. I thought only women like stars and moon, but who would have thought that person was actually a human demon among the demons? Is it a man or a woman? Lu Wei's head was a puddle. He should be a pure man, otherwise Brother Mei wouldn't be so disappointed. But Brother Mei, what happened later? Wang Yu saw that everyone didn't answer, so he explained to Lu Wei. Later on, I even dared to play that game there. Whenever I thought of these things, I felt goosebumps all over, said senior brother Hao Mei with a worried expression. After pretending to be a female player and deceiving others' feelings, you still end up in chaos. Chiu Yongho couldn't help but hit him as he saw where he was still pretending to be pitiful. My initial motive was pure. Hao Mei reluctantly defended herself. Is your server called Xianyu Wang Yue? Ko, who had been eating quietly, suddenly put down his chopsticks and interjected. How do you know? Are hacking techniques so powerful? Hao Mei didn't know what she was thinking, and suddenly her voice changed in nervousness. Because I am the human demon among the demons you mentioned. Ko looked at Hao Mei's eyes with a deep sense of resentment. The scene was extremely awkward, and Wang Yu had anticipated that it was better. Yu Banshan simply took a sip of salt soda and sprayed Chiu Yongho's face. Chiu Yongho stood up and said, "I'll go clean it, and then I'll head straight to the toilet." Yu Banshan's reaction slowed down a bit, so she quickly followed Chiu Yongho and left. "I'll go pay the bill, and you can eat slowly." Wang Yu and the eldest, second, and fourth stared at each other, realizing that their senior brother was their senior brother, and their reaction was quick. "I'm talking about Brother Mei, your deceitful behavior towards others is not authentic. It happens that Master Ko is also here, so you should go and apologize to him properly." Wang Yu saw that he couldn't escape, so he could only speak out and break the silence. "We won't disturb you anymore." Without waiting for them to reply, he quickly urged the three people in the dormitory to run out of the restaurant together. Third, do you think Ko already knew that senior brother Haomei had deceived his feelings back then? Huang Tao, the eldest, asked with some uncertainty. 8 or 9 never leave 10, you haven't seen how well Master Ko takes care of Haomei. Wang Yu was not really sure in his heart, but he had to make himself like a Zhuge Kongming. After hearing this, the eldest, second, and fourth members trembled all over and quickly returned to the company together. After everyone returned to the company, they were busy again. About 2 hours later, Haomei and Ko returned one after another. After Haomei returned, she immediately rushed to Xiaonai's office and gave him a fierce operation, which turned out to be for 4.25. For the first time, Xiaonai felt that Haomei was so eye-catching. Didn't she see that his family's face turned slightly red? In order to get rid of this guy quickly, it was just a way for Haomei to succeed. Then, Xiaonai had to say in a profound manner in front of Wei Wei, "It's tiring to think about maintaining a good image by marrying Haomei." That afternoon, these two goods downloaded the game again from the company and got married together. It's also hard for that game company. It's been so long and there aren't many people on the server, yet it hasn't been shut down yet. After getting married, Haomei was so happy that she didn't complain about being tired from work. She didn't know if it was the motivation of 1,000 yuan or the nourishment of her new marriage. Seeing this situation, Wang Yu felt that he needed to buy Haomei another good price and specially bought a cake to congratulate Ko and Haomei on their wedding. While everyone was bustling, Wang Yu pretended to be serious and took a cup of tea from Xiaonai, handed it to Ko, and then bent down and said, "Master, have a happy wedding." The other employees of the company saw this scene and all followed suit. Xiaonai watched Wang Yu's movements thoughtfully, but didn't say anything. Ko's eyes were filled with surprise as he saw Wang Yu holding up his teacup. He quickly took it over and took a sip before saying, "If there's anything technical that you don't understand, just ask." Wang Yu waited for his words and quickly hit the snake with the stick, pulling him to start asking some questions. From that day on, Wang Yu, who had 2 skilled hackers teaching at the same time, was diligent and constantly learning, and his hacking skills were also constantly improving. Even when Erxi returned to school early, he didn't even want to go and try to catch up. Wang Yu took Erxi to the company and became familiar with it, but still immersed himself in the study of hackers. Looking at his sweetheart, who is so obsessed with broken computers, the dull and cute air she complained weakly to him, no wonder most programmers are single. You see, Wang Yu now thinks that I am not as important as his computer. After listening slightly, she smiled unkindly. She smiled for a while and quickly said before Erxi wanted to scratch her, "You can feel more at ease with him like this. Anyway, no matter when he doesn't answer your phone, you know he's playing with the computer, not just fooling around." After listening to Wei Wei's explanation, Erxi looked at Wei Wei with some suspicion and said, "Are you and the great god doing the same?" With a slight blush on her face, she said against her heart, "Yeah, didn't you see that I spend a lot of time with you?" She believed it to be true and breathed a sigh of relief. As school was about to start, the dormitory leader and the 3 of them finished their internships. And Wang Yu still stayed in the company. Actually there was not much to learn later. It's about constantly practicing and improving oneself. ZE Technology has reached a cooperation agreement with Funting Company. Xianyu took action and began Wang Yu's plan. Xianyu also did not hide any secrets, allowing Wang Yu to follow the project from the moment it was approved, step by step as the project progressed, and Wang Yu gained a lot. Starting from this project, Wang Yu seems to have returned to the 996 before his time travel, allowing Xiaonyu's brothers to see a different kind of Wang Yu. I used to be somewhat dissatisfied with Wang Yu herding sheep every day in the company. If it weren't for Xiaonyu's suppression, I would probably have given him a bad face long ago. Now I finally have a balanced mind. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Journey through Newcomers and Homesickness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Journey through Newcomers and Homesickness. A few days before the start of school, when Wang Yu rushed back to the dormitory, all the dormitory brothers were there, busy themselves while chatting. Boss Huang Tao sighed a bit. I think this summer vacation was quite fulfilling. The other brothers also sighed one after another, and the second brother continued, when I wasn't working before, I just felt that it was tiring to work. I really didn't understand. As a result, working for more than a month this summer, even in a relaxed startup like Xiaonyu, it was exhausting. The obedient fourth child also said, in just 1 month, I feel quite tired, and I don't know how my parents and I have been working for so many years and have persisted. Wang Yu listened to their discussion and couldn't help but mutter to himself, isn't it for the sake of living? But what is life for? I spent almost 10 years salting fish before crossing over, but I didn't understand why. This salted fish film and television travel system is probably designed to make a salted fish like me flip over and lie peacefully, and heaven can't stand it anymore. It's only a few days since I left school. Otherwise, let's go out for a drink. It's been a long time since we went to strip the skewers to have a drink together. Wang Yu was letting his thoughts fly when he heard that Jia Honghai, the second child, suddenly patted the bed and attracted everyone's attention. Then he said his thoughts. Okay, let's go to Ko's restaurant. I'll go. Ko's not there anymore. Is their food okay? The fourth person immediately followed up. Then change it. The boss frowned and pondered, but still couldn't figure out which one was better. Let me ask How Mei. Lu Wei, the fourth in command, always had a simple idea. He picked up his phone and called How Mei. Wang Yu saw that he had actually called How Mei and knew that this might be a company dinner. So, he quickly took out his phone and made an appointment with Shi. After all, although Xiaonyu has a dark belly, he is very good at being a person. After all, this fox has been pretending to be human for so many years and has already become a sperm. Sure enough, shortly after, Lu Wei happily said that How Mei and the others were also going to have a meal together. They had already booked a private room in a hotel near the university city, and it was said that the name of the private room was very satisfactory, Xiaonyu, and it was called Qinyun Pavilion. The group rushed to the hotel, and when Wang Yu saw the name of the private room opposite Qinyun Pavilion, he unconsciously twitched his lips. He immediately understood why Xiaonyu had also arrived, which allowed Wang Yu to learn again. This move was cleverly played with the flow, and he didn't think anything was wrong. At first, Wang Yu thought that Xiaonyu would make How Mei pay the bill, so he didn't come. However, he underestimated Xiaonyu's level of abdominal blackness and his determination to protect food. After entering the private room, while waiting for someone, the fourth Lu Wei and the eldest were discussing the opposite Jushuan. Wang Yu went over and sat down, only to hear Lao Si still giving detailed feedback to Lao Da about his 1,000-mile-year gains. Boss. I just heard that there is an offline gathering of a guild on the Emperor's Wind and Cloud server across the street. Lu Wei, the fourth in command, whispered to Huang Tao and Jia Honghai, as if he was afraid that the people across from him would hear it. Which gang? Second brother Jia Honghai. It's like hearing that first beauty, Little Rain Demon. Old Si had just finished speaking when How Mei heard the 4 words, Little Rain Demon, and immediately became excited. What's wrong with the Little Rain Demon? I haven't played the game for a long time, what's new? Did the little rain demon provoke Saw again? A few people who arrived early in the room were quite excited, after all, the first beauty in the game, but that was a photo. What was the real situation? Across from me is a gathering of the ghost of a beautiful woman offline, and I heard a voice saying, "Little rain demon." As soon as Lu Wei saw this situation, he explained everything he knew. "I'll go listen." Upon hearing this, Yu Banshan opened the door and prepared to go and listen. As soon as I opened the door, I saw Xiaonai preparing to open the opposite door. "Third, I can't tell you're like this. Third, you already have a slight junior sister. Don't mess around with flowers and grass." Hao Mei followed behind Ban Shan with a look of hatred. "Third, this is Qingyun Pavilion," Xiu Yongho kindly reminded. However, they didn't expect that Xiaonai's face remained calm and his expression remained unchanged. He replied with a very affirmative answer, "That's right. I'll go in and pick up Wei Wei. Wei Wei junior sister is across from me." Hao Mei's dull face was written with 3 words, "You're teasing me." Others were also surprised, only Wang Yue knew the situation in an instant. The plot has already developed to this point. So, Wang Yue knew this tone and explained to everyone, "That's reasonable. Otherwise, why would Xiaonai have set the meeting place here?" Everyone nodded in unison, but this did not dampen their enthusiasm and instead made them even more excited. Xiaonai ignored them and solemnly opened the door of Jushuan across from them. After hearing him enter, a buzzing sound of discussion first came from inside. Then, a faint voice was heard, "My boyfriend is here, you guys keep going, let's go first." At this moment, another female voice said, "Since your boyfriend is here, why don't we all come together?" Yeah, a group of people were in agreement at this moment. "No need, we're right across the door, they're both waiting for us." In no time, Wei Wei and Xiao Na came out and entered Qingyun Pavilion with everyone. There's no one on the other side who can compare to the Wei Wei junior sister, no wonder Xiao Nai is not at ease and chased straight here. Yu Banshan didn't know when he slipped behind, he had already taken the opportunity to investigate. "That's as you said, it's actually quite good." Wei Wei immediately became humble. "Wei Wei senior sister, those people across from you, but there's that little rain demon who doesn't deal with you. How dare you go to the mouth of a sheep entering a tiger?" Lu Wei, the 4th brother, was worried. "That's as dangerous as you said. Today, I transformed into a great god, and I easily solved their small tricks." With a slightly proud expression, I looked at Xiao Na with a look of seeking praise. "Give me some strength." Xiao Nai was constantly distributing dog food. Bei Weiwei said, "You don't need to deal with them in Sancheng. That's it." Senior sister Weiwei, that red-clad female swordsman was playing, how heroic and heroic she was. "That's right." Junior sister Weiwei made others doubt her gender. A group of people became lively again, one by one, slowly transitioning from gaming to discussing work, and then to imagining the future. The atmosphere is getting more and more lively, and the atmosphere of the banquet is also getting better and better. The eldest, 2nd, and 4th are attending this kind of gathering for the first time. At first, it couldn't be released, but after 3 rounds of drinking, it was also released. After all, in the room, except for Wang Yu, most of the others have just graduated and have not completely lost the shadow of their students. Wang Yu was able to handle this situation with ease, which made Xiao Nai take a liking to him. After all, in Xiao Nai's eyes, Wang Yu had just entered his sophomore year, but he didn't feel any discomfort in this situation. No matter how wicked Xiao Nai may be, he never imagined that Wang Yu was a seasoned traveler for 10 years. At this party, Wang Yu seemed to return to his previous life of salted fish. At this moment, although he was reluctant, Wang Yu still felt homesick and missed his original world. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Grand Wedding. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Grand Wedding. At the beginning of the summer vacation in Wang Yu's junior year, it was heard that the impatient Xiaonai and Wei Wei had arranged a marriage date. And Wang Yue and his 4 roommates were all invited to attend the wedding. However, on the day of their wedding, their dormitory was divided into 2 groups, with Wang Yue serving as the male guest, while the eldest, second, and 4th guests were the female guests. At the beginning of Xiaonai's wedding with Wei Wei, they wanted to get married as soon as Wei Wei graduated. Xiaona even proposed to hold the wedding in an ancient style, and upon hearing it, he was very happy. When the 2 of them discussed with their parents, everything developed in an uncontrollable direction. The more the elderly people on both sides discussed, the happier they became, so they decided to follow the ancient customs completely, with 3 books, 6 rituals, 3 media, and 6 appointments. In order to follow the process, Wei Wei's family arrived in Kyoto early. Uncle Xiaonai arranged a courtyard near the school, and Wei Wei got married from there. Although time has been compressed to the extreme, the process has been going on for almost 2 months, so by the time Wei Wei and Xiaona get married soon, school is almost starting. On the day of marriage, although there was no 10-mile red makeup, it was extremely festive. Not only the ancient costume worn by Xiaonai, but also the phoenix crown and rosy robe worn by Bei Wei Wei. When Xiaonai and Wei Wei's friends came, they were all dressed in ancient costumes. It is said that on the day of the wedding, many tabloid reporters came upon hearing the news and thought it was a film or television drama. Such an open crew is rare. After they took a photo for a while, they suddenly realized that it was not quite right because during the wedding, when the couple was bowing 3 times and kowtowing 9 times, many costume workers even took out their phones to take photos. This is not very professional, right? So, they asked the guy in charge of wedding photography, they all helped out, why do you still shoot? Does the director care? The photography big brother was originally quite complaining about this family, getting married and finding so many photographers. As soon as I heard about this photography, I almost burst out laughing. He quickly explained, this is a serious marriage, not a film or TV drama, okay? The photographers of the tabloid reporters were about to turn off the camera upon hearing this, but their movements were mostly stopped by the accompanying reporters. Signal the photographer to continue, then call the above for instructions. The result is mostly to make mistakes, after all, this is also a very good news material. A few shrewd journalists, after contacting the 2 families after the wedding and obtaining their consent, surprisingly took a copy of the wedding video with them. The next day, as expected, Wei Wei and Xiaonai's wedding was published in the newspaper, but unexpectedly, the wedding was broadcast on the news network of the city radio at night. Originally, Wang Yue thought that after attending Xiaonai's wedding, he should be able to go back. After all, the plot had ended, and he was still reluctant to part with his brothers and girlfriend here. However, on the second day of his hangover, he realized that he was still in this world. This is too ridiculous. Who's been in this world for more than 3 years with such a loophole in their system, and they haven't had any bubbles yet? Can we say that this is a one-way ticket, just randomly throwing people away? And is this system responsible for throwing all the salted fish in the world into the film and television world? No matter how much he harbors resentment in his heart, life still needs to continue. Wang Yue takes things easy and learns knowledge from Xiaonai Company. Even Xiaonai's behavior of spreading dog food has been learned by him. Now Wang Yue plays a crucial role in Xiaonai Company, after all, during these 3 years. Wang Yue has come up with many game plans, each of which will be a profit point for the company. ZE Technology has gone from a few people in the small office to over 200 people in the entire company, but it is still constantly expanding and developing rapidly. In addition to gaming, the company is also involved in cybersecurity. Wang Yue follows the technical department every day to handle various cybersecurity issues. As long as he can practice his various computer skills, Wang Yue is always willing to come. Wang Yue applied to be transferred to the network technology department 6 months ago, and here KO is in charge. He wants to improve his hacking skills with KO. On that day, KO went to help Hao Mei improve the program, and Wang Yue suddenly received a message from the head of the technical department, saying that there was a group of people who were invading the company's network and organizing defense. Wang Yue saw that the other party was endlessly searching, so he followed the trail and went over. The other party saw that this area was exposed, so they quickly organized defense. As a result, Wang Yue took a step faster and successfully found the organizer behind this behavior. Wang Yue quickly sent the information he had received to Xianyu, then stood up and rushed to the restroom. This operation took too long. Who knew, just as he squatted down, he heard a prompt sound from the secondary cargo system. Didi, the host has learned the skill of hacking and has gained recognition from many hackers. Drip, the host has reached the return condition of the Xianyu film and television system. Didi, the traversal system is starting up. Didi, successfully launched, ready to start returning to the original world. Didi, return successful. Drip, crossing the cooling system. That's it. Can you please don't cause trouble when people use the restroom? Also, what is the cooling situation? Is it after cooling and then crossing over? But you can give some hints on how long it will take to cool down. Wang Yue can't afford to complain about these things. Even the girlfriend she picked up was accidentally lost by herself. There's no place to complain, anyway, this system won't bother you. There is a saying that goes, since you cannot resist, don't silently enjoy it. However, Wang Yue, who had just calmed down, immediately became less beautiful again. It's been a while since I came back from this journey. I don't know when the clips of TikTok's 10-minute smile will be played out. Wang Yuekai wants to clean up. As a result, when I stood up suddenly, my legs felt numb and sore. So Wang Yue limped back to the office, attracting the attention of many people along the way. However, Wang Yue didn't care at all. At this point, the temperament he learned from Xianyu had a counterproductive effect. Imagine a person with a cold and aloof demeanor limping past you, the drama is too dramatic to be noticed. Wang Yue returned to the office and sat in his office chair. After a long pause, his disobedient legs finally accepted the job offer again. I looked at the time in the bottom right corner of the monitor, and then recalled that this time travel didn't consume any time. When his legs were numb, he didn't pay attention and thought that after his thoughts traveled through, the other person's body was still in the same position. It's okay, it's okay. Wang Yue looked at the open blueprint on the computer desktop, recalled it for a moment, and was ready to continue busy. But how can I feel so uncomfortable now that I used to be accustomed to using a computer? So without saying a word, he saved the drawings and started to get busy. He heard the sound of his keyboard, which crackled and lasted for a while. A few people near the office looked at Wang Yue in surprise, while the older brother Yan enthusiastically asked, "What are you playing with?" Yan Gu is a game enthusiast. When Plants vs. Zombies first became popular, his computer background would always run this game. The manager had interviewed him several times about this matter, but I don't know what happened afterwards, so the matter came to an end. Yan later told everyone that as long as you have strong business skills, everything else is just a floating cloud. Everyone was complimenting for a while, but Yan still went his own way. However, there is still no one who dares to learn from him, after all, no one is iron and silly. End of this chapter.